Well, today I'm marking a difficult but very empowering anniversary. Hard to believe it's been 5 years since I filed my harassment lawsuit against Roger Ailes, the founder and CEO of Fox News. And it's truly crazy to think about the last 5 years for me and for the nation and for this fight, Charlotte, because this was absolutely one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, probably the hardest, and also among the most worthwhile things that I've ever done, but I could have never known that on this day 5 years ago.
No, I can't imagine how you, well, it's certainly can't imagine how you felt 5 years ago, but I also wonder how you feel today. I mean, it was Independence Day. Are you having double Independence Day right now?
That's a good way to frame it, Charlotte. I don't even want to get emotional, but tears are like waterworks today. It's mostly good,
Yeah.
It's mostly good. I actually cry for all the other people who've never had a voice and the bravery of so many millions of people who, followed suit. And for whatever role I played in helping to ignite this most recent iteration of the movement, as I say, yes, worth it. But a lot of emotions of how damn scared I was that day. And in jumping off the cliff, having no idea how it was going to affect me or my children or the rest of my family. But as a friend said to me, Charlotte, on that day, Gretchen, I think something good is going to come of this. And at the time, I could not have imagined that. But I've just rolled up my sleeves and worked as hard as I could to try and make change over the last 5 years. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you should be proud of that. You're going to make me cry as well.
Yeah, sorry. It's just, it's just all of it's so unexpected, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was very difficult to predict what your coming forward was going to do. And not only that it's your voice, but that your voice raised, a chorus of voices at Fox. More women at Fox came forward. 21st Century Fox, which is the parent company, they started an investigation as a result. And then, of course, it inspired the Showtime miniseries, The Loudest Voice, and also the movie Bombshell, but also many more women to come forward.
And I think, one of the biggest things that happened to me during the time was I got this public apology when we came to a resolution. And that, in the end of the thousands of women I've spoken to, that's all we want. We want an apology for how we were treated. And I have to tell you, unfortunately, most people never get it. It's just, the way in which people have been treated and still are, by the way. And it's just so unfortunate that this is still going on. I think so many people felt like we had solved this. And when they heard my case and then millions others, they were like, well, holy crap, we still got a long way to go, which is why I work so hard on this. And I really believe that we have come a long way. Women are believed now. Predators are being fired. There are consequences, but there are these silencing mechanisms, which is why I created my nonprofit, Lift Our Voices, which really are they're central to this fight, which are forced arbitration clauses in employment contracts and non-disclosure agreements. That's what's really kept this monstrous epidemic alive, because companies have been able to hide their dirty laundry within these silencing mechanisms. But not for long, Charlotte, because Lift Our Voices is on a mission and Gretchen Carlson is on a mission and there's legislation on the Hill, and this will be a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, one hopes. I think that Lift Our Voices and all the work you've done regarding NDAs really shows how insidious this is. It's really enshrined in how these corporate contracts are drawn up, and that this kind of thing is protected.
Yeah, and it also shows that I think this was in an article on Variety that was written today. I also have an op-ed coming out in USA Today later on today. It reminds me of a story from the Bible with David and Goliath. And nobody thought David could sling his little rock and kill the giant. And, there are a lot of parallels. And it's not just me. This is happening to millions of people every day. They don't think they can take on the behemoth. And, it shows that in some cases, giants can fall. And, we've seen a lot of them. I think my main message, though, is that most of these kinds of cases happening across America and the world are not necessarily giants in their industry. This is everywhere. So this is your boss at McDonald's,
Yeah.
This is your boss at your school or in the military or in your firehouse. So it still takes the same amount of courage to come forward, no matter how big the person is. But giants and middle level managers and low level people, they're all being held accountable.
I do wonder. So I also had an experience in graduate school. I reported sexual harassment that I experienced over a number of years. And I reported it before Me Too had a resurgence and before all of this. And I do wonder if the outcome would have been different. What happened with me is I was told to keep it secret. I was told I would ruin the department. They closed ranks. It made it very difficult to find an academic job. And I was blamed. And at the time, I really blamed myself. And I wonder if it would have turned out different.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. I can hear the fear and everything in your voice. And this is, you're not alone either. Although I would have to say that probably things would be different now. Although some institutions think they can still put their head in the sand and not deal with it. Pretty soon they're not going to be able to when laws change. But thank you for having the courage to do it before we were in this movement. Thank you, because people are still so scared now. But I say to people, if there were ever a time to come forward, it's been in the last 5 years, because the media is paying attention, the American public's paying attention, they're horrified, and they don't want this for their children. We thought we had eradicated it, and we hadn't, and so we're really pushing for the little cherub faces, and you're about to give birth to a girl, and we don't want this for her, certainly by the time she gets to be of age of going to work, and my children who are teenagers. So thank you for doing that.